Hi, I'm Olivia Corey, and I will be explaining how I developed my production skills throughout the process of my project. Right now, you are looking at a poster I created, and I want to talk about why and how I made it this way. First, I just took a behind the scenes photo, and I used an app which allowed me to make Lizzie, the main character's face blurry, and also the background. I felt like this created a separation from the audience and film because it added mystery, and I really like that. I wanted the poster to feel like one of those old-timey movies where they find an old picture and it's wrinkled and crumbled. So the app let me add and fade those lines into the poster, and I really liked the outcome of it. I also added little lights everywhere just to make it look like it happened while I took the photo. I photoshopped a knife into the photo just to create that question of is everyone dying or what kind of is happening. I really like how I put the knife over the main character's head because in the film, she's the only one who ends up surviving because we never really know if she gets killed or not at the end. So it kind of just foreshadows if she is going to die or is she going to be the only one not dying. My film is named Birthday Bloodbath because me and my partner, Haley Boyer, really wanted the first letters of the words to be the same. And we went through a lot of naming processes, but we settled for Birthday Bloodbath at the beginning of the school year. I had really no idea and concept of what I was getting myself into with this class, but working on the little projects like the podcast and my midterm and everything in between really contributed to the overall product of this movie. Just because I had gotten a lot of experience and got to mess around with Adobe and different editing tools like the volume of the film, how to move clips around and place them in the right order, and how to export and upload the video itself. I really wanted to do a horror movie just because I haven't really gotten into that genre yet, but for my midterm, I did like a coming of age romance, kind of, and I guess you can say there was a little bit of mystery at the end, but I really wanted to get into horror, so I did a lot of research and watched a lot of horror movies, and I noticed that there's a lot of suspense, eerie music, and quite a bit of plot twist happening throughout all of the movies, and we kind of never really know what's going to happen next. So I came up with the original plan of this project, and my partner changed whatever she didn't like, and basically the whole time we were teaming up with each other, and we both really put in a lot of work and effort into this film. We did have to change a lot of things while deciding what to add in or take out and move around just like chronologically. And if we didn't like that idea or any idea that either one of us came up with, um, and a lot of times we didn't, we just took it out. One of the hardest parts of the process of making this film was probably the casting, just because at the time we didn't have a lot of people because it was sports season and most people were working weekly. But I did get my little sister and two friends to help, and they really stepped up with improvising on what to say or how to move. Since I was the director, I told everyone the general idea of what to say and where and how they should move. A lot of the times the cast would just ask like, "Oh, can I say this?" And I was like, "Please, yes, I would love that." Just because like me and my partner didn't have a defining script, we just knew the general idea of what we wanted from them, and that really helped. But improvising also created an environment for us to have to refilm a lot, just because they were so happy talking that the scenes were going way too long, or they didn't actually say what we needed them to say. An issue we had was filming took way too long and everyone was kind of getting frustrated at each other a lot throughout the filming. I did have an original plan to film at my house, but just because of working schedules, we had to film at my partner's house. And I think that really worked out just because the layout of her house was very helpful because I could hide in corners and get a perfect camera shot, or if I needed to not be in the shot, there was many like corridors I could hide behind. I do want to talk about the editing process because I think it was the most difficult thing we had to do in this project, and we just ran into a lot of issues. Some of those issues being the movie ended up being so long that we had to decide what to keep in and cut out, or if we should speed up some scenes. Another problem was in some scenes, the person or the music was so loud that we had to turn it down a lot. Another issue was me and my partner just not agreeing on what we think is right or what we should do. I really wanted the ending of the movie to be in the beginning and to have that whole rewind part and let that take the film into the actual beginning. But once we put those scenes in Adobe, my partner really didn't like that and I begged her to let us use it. Another issue that was arising for me was trying to find the right music to go with certain clips. Like in the beginning when the main character is walking up to the house, I just wanted an eerie but also like happy and uplifting type of music just because we have to make the environment very happy in the beginning so people could be thrown off at what is to come. The problem with this is I couldn't find the right kind of music I was looking for. So I really had to settle on what I found, and I think it turned out okay. Another issue that slightly bothered me is that some of the clips are not really smooth transitions into the next. And the party music by Katy Perry is too loud when the two girls, the main character and her friend, are talking in the bathroom. I do think we should have turned up their voices more and the music down more. Another really big editing problem was during the filming process, there ended up being the camera and the reflection of the mirror in the bathroom sink. And so during editing, my partner had to find an app and erase it, which was very hard and took about a week. And most of the apps cost money, but she ended up finding an app that was working for her. And so we did end up getting the camera out of the mirror. During the filming process, I learned and played around with a lot of different camera angles, but I also feel like I used the tripod quite a bit just because my partner really wanted the camera to be steady. I really wanted the camera to be aligned with the characters' faces and bodies, so the tripod really helped with that a bit just because my hands shake a lot when I'm trying to hold the camera steady. Some of the camera angles that I used were tracking shots, close ups, zoom in, zoom out, and an overhead shot. I also really liked how in the bathroom scene I used at least three different camera angles just because in horror movies I've seen a lot of camera movement when people are in just one room or in one place. I was happy when I was able to incorporate that into my film, and I think I did good with those camera movements throughout the filming process. When we ended up getting to the abandoned place, you can kind of tell that we were going to make a transition with the flashlights when the girls were all standing there, since in a lot of films they do this. And it was important to me that the main character only held the one flashlight, so the audience knows that she is the important one and all eyes should be focused on her. We did end up filming a transition with the flashlight, and I made Lizzie shine the light into the camera first. And in the next scene, the light was going to be on the camera, and then all the girls would start running past the phone while it was at a tilt. But when we ended up putting it in Adobe, it did not look smooth and it was just bad, so we both agreed to just cut it out. At the end scene when the girls were running, I directed Lizzie and I told her I really wanted her to move the camera around a lot. Another reason for this is so if we did end up cutting the flashlight transition, the next scene wouldn't look so weird and the movie would still have a lot of light in it. At the very end, when the killer, played by me, comes around the corner and the girls run past the camera, you can see a light illuminating me. This is because I made sure after Lizzie ran past the camera to immediately have the flashlight on me. I really do think the flashlight was an amazing prop to use. Other props I made sure to include were fake drugs, alcohol, cake, a phone. I did end up using a stick as a weapon. I do think these props came to good use, and I really liked how I made sure to include them, especially the drugs and alcohol, since it can be focused on social issues, which I can talk about on another video. Since it was the main character's birthday, I had to buy a cake, and I really wanted a scene of all the girls hanging out, having fun, and eating cake, and we did that, and it was amazing. But in the end of this project, I really learned a lot about editing, using different filming techniques, planning, researching, and having more experience with filming equipment. All in all, this project took way too long, but we had fun most of the time. Chat with you next time. Bye.